okay? We're giving each other a second to get acclimated to our touch. I am like syncing my breath up with Ray's just to sort of arrive together. Great. From here, I'm going to start my myofascial approach to palpation. And what that means is I'm thinking about my speed, my angle, and intent, even when I'm palpating, okay? So we're gonna start by moving off of the erectors here, falling away from the midline or away from the spine, and I have like a bit of a lunge coming into my legs here so that when I'm falling or when I'm like finding my tool and I'm falling into these places, it's because my body weight is falling into my hands, not because I'm pushing. Does that make sense? So I'm leaning. That's my angle. So we have spinous processes in the center. I'm falling off into the erectors here. Obviously, I'm also walking over the rhomboids. Falling into the tissue, and you'll hear me say fall, sink, no. Oh my gosh. It's a lot to teach class after class in my brain. We're making contact, we're sinking, we're dragging the tissue in a certain direction, and then we're falling into that direction, okay? So we're gonna start with a little bit of a walk down the erectors. I like to make some L's here, but I want you to pay attention to this angle, and I have my lunge here. I'm using the table a bit with my other knee to sort of lead against it. Myofascial angle over the tops of the shoulders, so I'm having this lean happen side to side. Right, is it okay to undrape?
Yes,
Okay. Undraping in this class. I like to do it this way. You can do it other ways, but I just want to show you a way that I like, which is to, if you feel like there's an undergarment there, which we will often be feeling in this class, I'm just going to tuck into that undergarment. And now when I bring down the sheet, it's not going anywhere. I've made that tuck already, okay? Undraping the hands. So I'm going to, come close. I'm going to make this clear line, this clear boundary, so that when I move the sheet, I'm not having anything like lift up and expose. We don't want our client to feel any air there. I'm moving the sheet to the side, taking the arm out of the sheet, okay? We want to make sure that the arms are slightly bent so that we have access to the side body versus by the side where we need to be able to access. Clear line. Find the wrist. Little traction.
Do you tuck it under the hip at all?
I don't. You can, but it's not necessary. Ray, I'm going to take you on a little ride for a second.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. And now I'm going to do the same thing that I just did over the sheet, but I'm going to do it skin to skin. No oil today.
Release, is it often little to no oil?
I'd say we're moving on the little side. Like you can absolutely, I use like lotion, but I'm not using, I still want to be able to have grip and traction on the skin. And when we have a lot of oil, it's like slippy slidey. So we want to be able to find this traction. And you can see what's happening if you guys come real close. See the direction of this skin here? That's what the sensation is, like that's what it feels like. Ray, what does this feel like to you?
Everything's like drags down.
Drags down?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like pulling this tissue away from these big joint spaces, and that feels like, you know, imagine if like someone was like pulling 2 points away from each other. There's like sensation of length or space or like a dragging. So from here, we're gonna take a bit of a walk. I was sliding my hands at the same time, but you can also move into this walking kind of motion. Ready? I'm making my contact, I'm dragging the tissue, and then I'm falling in that direction. Okay? Yeah. And as I start to get towards the low back, I'm going to take a walk in towards the table so that I don't leave my booty behind, and then my low back starts to feel not so nice. So I can choose one side of the headrest to be on so that I can get nice and close to the table.
Are you making the most contact with the heel of the palm here?
Yes, but I'm also like my whole hand makes contact, but yes, I'm like falling mainly into heel of hand. Now I'm finding my bony landmarks here so I can feel where the iliac crest is, and then I'm kind of finding different points. I can be sort of like right around the sacroiliac joint, which we didn't look about at, but we will. I can be a bit wider, but any kind of space right below the iliac crest is a really nice place to fall into.
And you're sort of tractioning through all your fingers. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
And then from here, we can retrace our steps by continuing to like find this sink and drag in a direction. I'm using my body, like body weight at all times, but here especially, I'm like letting my hands find that grip on the skin, and I'm tractioning the skin away from the low back. Notice my body mechanics here. If I were to let go, like that's the amount to which I'm falling.
Can you record the hair poster?
Oh,
as
yes.
well?
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Zach.
I'll get a bunch of ankles.
And then we're gonna find our way to the tops of the shoulders, just like we did in the palpation before we undraped. Finding the same idea.
Which number are we on?
I'm making my way to 6. Tracing my finger pads around the shoulders, base of neck. Think like bilateral tree stroke from Western One, until we find that occipital ridge. Leaning back. Sink finger pads into occipital bone. So I want you to try all of this without any oil or lotion. I want you to just feel this contact, sink, drag the tissue in a direction, and that could be my intention. And then I'm falling into my hands, like if the table were to disappear, I would fall on my face. I can have both of my hands move together, or if you feel like you're kind of like, you can move to one hand and then the other walking down the erectors. I'm moving in as I move towards the iliac crest. And then I can retrace my steps another way, which is sliding up the sides of the body. So we're passing rib cage. We'll get into this more as we go into next week, until I come up to that inferior angle of the scapula, and then I can make my way back to this. Both are good options, that's fine. And then tracing the back of the shoulders, sinking my finger pads in, dragging the tissue in a direction. That's like where this intention like really comes, like, you know, I could just be kind of like moving through these 2 points, but my intention is to like drag tissue away from the base of the neck. That's my intention. I want you to also feel like standing on the other side of the table. This is where you can really come into contact with your lean and your fall even more so. Similar to the way we started. Essentially, I want you to try everything once over the sheet, everything once under the sheet, and then we'll do everything once again with a little bit of oil or lotion or whatever you have. But I'm finding this sink, drag, and fall. At no point does it feel like my shoulders are involved here, like I'm pushing. addressing the erectors with myofascial release. I can also do this with finger pads. I can start to move down into QL. It's so slow, it's so boring to watch, but it's slow. I can change my angle so that I'm moving with the fibers. So I'm standing on one side, myofascial release of the QL just from a different angle. And that's gonna provide different sensations that might feel like better or different or worse to the person on the table. And that QL covers like quite a bit of space, so I can like work in sections, right? I can work down medial fibers to lateral, but I want you to just find this fall, sink, drag. We're not putting our fingers underneath the drape, so wherever we make that drape is the line we respect. We can also work towards the head, falling this way. Still addressing QL, moving along the erectors, but this is all my body weight. And once I start, it's around here that I start to feel like I'm pushing because of where I'm standing. So I want to inch towards, so that I can come back into falling. So slow. So slow.
He's sleeping.
I'm not so concerned on like the fluidity of this today. I'm really interested in just seeing you guys get very comfortable with this sensation. Sink, drag the skin or the tissue in a certain direction, and then falling in that direction.
You just winked to the camera.
No, I did. I was looking at Anya's face, and it was like we were like piecing things together, and I was like, yeah, you're doing it. But it probably looked like I was like
It did.
For the camera.
A wink confirmation.
yikes. No, it was like you were thinking, and I was like, yeah,
Yes, you
yeah,
got
you
it.
got it.
And drag.
Sink, drag, fall, and wink. Don't wink. They won't know. So I'm being mindful of like these bony landmarks here. I'm staying in between the medial border of the scapula and the spine.
I'm gonna get a close up.
You can see the like indentation that I'm leaving behind. And I can find the occiput right from there if I wanted. You can see we got like a bit of circulation going on, right? A little pink. I'm gonna do the same thing with a little bit of lotion, but talk to me, Alex.
When you're facing that way and working up the spine, could
Yeah.
you approach the occiput from that
Um,
too, or do you like to be
No, you
like,
could. You could.
over the head?
Yeah. But, oh wait, I said I would use rice. Okay, forget about it. You can, but today let's just stay within the realm of, but absolutely you can. So now I'm doing the same exact thing again, so three times, but this time I have a bit more glide because I have some lotion.
Do you find lotion or oil better for myofascial release, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter, but I do like the tack that lotion gives me, that I'm just not an oil person.
Okay.
And you can absolutely be an oil person, and that's fine. But if you are someone that feels like it gets really slick for you, and you feel like after today you're like, I wasn't able to feel that sort of traction, then maybe trying a lotion could be cool. See if you like it.
Is it easy to find ones that are not free?
Yes, yes.
I could see myself.
I'll
liking
show
lotion
some
better.
links, but Biotone is always a good option.
So there's a rhomboid.
At no point have I been perpendicular to Ray. We can move to one side and stand on the opposite side so we can find that fall. Sink, drag, fall. We're gonna get more advanced with sort of the tools that we're using for myofascial release, but today I just want you to stick with your palms. And then you can do the other side. I'm gonna just breeze through for a second, but
Not that
not that.
So today we're only working like this way. We're not really working our way pulling up. Does that make sense?
No, you can pull up.
Okay.
So when I came away from the iliac crest, I was doing
Okay.
this. So tissue moving away from the low back. I'm thinking about like, what does gravity already create on its own? Like, it's a lot of like heaviness of the joint spaces, right? Like compression. Gravity is very strong. So I'm almost trying to translate the sensation of like, what if that didn't exist? And that's where I'm sort of pulling away from these bigger joint spaces, like the low back, like the head and neck, the joints that are holding heavy things. Tracing around the shoulders, finding the occiput, letting your finger pads sink in, and drag.
Are you hooking into the ridge or like above the actual bone?
I'm hooking in right, if I feel where the bone is, I'm like right underneath it or along it.
Yeah.
And then we'll practice redraping the arms, finding the wrist, bringing it out to the side, bringing it back underneath the sheet. That way you don't have to do any kind of weird stuff there. Finding the wrist, bring the arm out to the side, lifting the sheet just enough so that the hand can sink underneath. And then you can palpate your, but just, you can also just like revisit, like do like sort of A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A throughout the entire thing. Any questions? You can end it there.